Good morning, Nash Vegas, Tennessee, home of the Grand Ole Opry and Little Old Me. I'm your host, Jeff Huskins. This is ETA. Got a killer show today, so hey, all you bachelors and all you bachelorettes, it's time to sober up. I got Lainey Wilson in the house. Let's do this.
Try not to pass.
Okay,
Put it in the Atmos theme.
Hey guys, welcome back to ETA. Got some news. We got a brand new sponsor, Sweetwater. Just came on board, and we just picked up Cabo. That's who makes Wolfie, the Wolf King GT Pro. So a lot more information about that coming up, but we're glad to have them on board. Everybody that made that happen, thank you very much. So, all right, here's what we got cooking today. Got Lainey Wilson, and I know you know the name. If you haven't, you've been living in a box. So this girl is on fire. She's on the show Yellowstone. She's up for 19,000 awards coming up. Everything under the sun, and I had the honor to mix the brand new album for Jay Joyce, her wonderful producer, one of the most talented guys I've ever been around. He's a stud. So I had to pick a song, and so I thought, well, this week has been a pretty cool week. I got 3 songs in the top 10 that I mixed in Dolby Atmos. One being Jelly Roll, Save Me, Harmony, Girl in Mine, that's in there, and then the old Lainey Wilson up there. She's kicking it at Billboard as of this week, number 8. On her way to the top. So here we'll break this song down. It's called Watermelon Moonshine, and it's absolutely beautiful. And let's do this. Let's go to Pro Tools. All right, here we are. Okay, now, if you've watched my show before, you're probably going, what happened? This looks different. This is a totally different thing going on here. Well, I decided this week I'm going to show you the mastering process of how I master Dolby Atmos, and this is a great song to show you. So it's set up a little bit different than probably you've seen me do before, color coordination wise. It's totally different, and I'm just going to give you the breakdown of what it is, and then I'm going to play you a little bit of the song. So I've got my LTC channel set up here in green, and then these ones in pink are my 3 key channels, and I'll get into detail about that. All the red is the bed that's been filleted out into mono, and then from here it's all my little effects that you remember from the other template. They're laid out in light blue, and then starting right here at number 49 is the rest of my objects all the way out, all the way to 120. This one's got 94 objects. So before we get too far cranking along, let's just let me give you a little verse and chorus if you haven't heard this. This song's amazing. So it's Lainey Wilson, Watermelon Moonshine. Here we go.
It was right after senior year, just before the summer disappeared. We went a-riding them old farm ruts, hanging out on the gate of his truck. We threw a blanket neath the sunset, being brave as 18 gets. We gave each other more than our hearts, with the help of a mason jar, a drink of watermelon moonshine. Cut the barn with a little lime, parking back in them kudzu vines. I was his and every bit of that boy was mine. Too young to know what love was, but we were learning on a sweet buzz. There's never nothing like the first time, and mine's always gonna taste like watermelon moonshine.
Wow. Man, that girl's amazing. She can flat get it. What a beautiful song, and what a killer production. Jay Joyce is just, like I said, he's a savant. He's the Mutt Lange of our age right now. This guy is just absolutely incredible, and puts a lot of thought, there's a lot that goes into a record like this. Whole album is a lot of hard work. But well, let's get into it, and I'll kind of show you what I'm doing here. All right, first off, how do I get to this point? So what I do is I have an empty page, I open up a brand new session, and I import that ADM BWF file. So I'm mixing over in my other template, the one you've seen with the, all the drums and everything broken out, and I mix that all down to an ADM BWF. I don't do anything to it as far as compression or anything like that at that point. It's just mix. I don't even care about the OKFS. I think this one came in, I remember it was like 9.7. A tad hot, but that's okay. It's not about that. It's about you just mix when you're mixing in that. When you get into here, this is where the detail work comes in. This is where all the magic happens in Atmos. Okay, so I import this ADM into an empty page. What pops up when you do that is you're going to get the bed, and then all the objects are going to be laid out. So the first thing I do is I fillet the bed. There's a little button you pull down and it says you can change everything into mono. So I put that into mono. So let me show you what it used to look like. I think I still got it in here. Yeah, cool. So I'll just activate this so you can see it. So that's what it looks like right here. It's in the blue. And it's your normal. I'll show it from here too. See it? I'll zoom in here a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's the bed. And for me, if you've watched my show before, I like to put the drums in the bed. That's my game. So that's the drums. There's a few little extra doodads in here because this has been, as I've moved along, this has been about a year ago. So a lot of my template things have changed a little bit, but generally speaking, this is going to be all drums. Okay, so let's get rid of this, hide, make inactive. Okay, now, so what I imported, and it comes into right about right there. And I think you're seeing that right on your screen, but it's going to start with the bed, go all the way down through the effects, all through all the objects. So what I do when I get that in, the very first thing I do is I highlight the whole entire thing, and I've got a send coming off of each one of these tracks, okay? It's right down here at the bottom. And this is what I call my mono print send. And it's on every single track, all the way downtown here, all the way to the end. So each one of them sending at about -10. I pulled it back a little bit because I told you how hot I was going in. All right, so all those mono sends are going downtown here to what I call my key tracks. Key 1, key 2, and key 3, okay? I record into this first track right here, and these will be blank when I first do it. I record into this track, and that's how I get everything. The entire mix is coming through this little mono aux send, and it's coming in mono into this track and being recorded. Now, no one's going to hear this. This particular mono track goes into the abyss. And no one hears it. It doesn't play back through the system. Nobody freak out. I'm not sending it to the cricket. It's not coming there. So it's just going strictly as a key that's going to key all my dynamic stuff, like compressors, de-essers, limiters. Okay, I'll show you how that works. So we come out of this, and then on key 1, I've got my one of my favorites, like I said in a short earlier this week, Pro Q3 from Fab Filter. This is my EQ curve that I got going on this song. A little boost on the highs, a little dip in the 400, a little pop on the end. And these are all grouped together all the way down through here. So when I change to each one, nothing's changing unless I purposely did it, but nothing's changing all the way through. So these are all grouped. That's cool with an EQ because it's easy to do. Just group them and make one change and you're done. Then the next thing in line on in this particular change is a de-esser, and I didn't need it on this song. Usually I would only use that to catch transients, like if I had something that was popping out too loud, or if I had any kind of issue with the true peak, I'll throw a de-esser on there just to nab it and grab it. It works great for that, but didn't need it on the song because it was superbly done by, again, Jay. So then after that, the next thing up is the Pro C2 Fab Filter compressor. Okay, this is where the fun starts. If you look right here, this is on channel number 2, which is key 2, okay? So this channel is getting fed by a copy. So once I print my very first one here, then I copy and I copy again. And if I need something else, if I had more inputs, I just keep copying until I get it and setting it up. But on this one, I just needed 3. So I made a print it here, copy here, copy here. Okay, those are all my keys. Now let's go back to here. Key number 1 is going to the EQ. There's nothing else on it. And then it goes to the de-esser, second, okay? We're not using a de-esser on this one, so it doesn't matter. Now, key number 2, right here, that's going to Mr. Compressor, okay? So if you look here, there is no key input on this one because it's on the track that's actually feeding it. Then, we'll come back to that, but then you got key number 3. Key number 3 is getting all the information's coming through it from the track, coming through the trim, the EQ, coming through the de-esser that's bypassed, coming through the compressor that's affecting it, and then going to the limiter, okay? The limiter is the last thing in this chain that I'm using. Okay, so now let's go over to the track and see what's happening. This is our guide, the 3 in the pink, that's my keys. 1, 2, and 3 going to the de-esser, not being used, the compressor, and the limiter. So next we got up this very first line here, which is channel, the left channel, or channel 1, or of the bed, or whatever you want to call it. It's the left speaker. So it's getting EQ. There's a lot of trim. If you can see, 11.5 is what I trimmed off the whole thing coming in to get it closer to 18 to start with. So that's the reason it doesn't matter what you're mixing. As long as it sounds good when you're mixing and you get everything like you want it. I don't even mess with headphones at that point because it's a waste of time. You just want to get your mix, make it sound great in the room. Because once you get to this world, that's where your headphones are going to come into play, and then you're going to finish out the song on headphones because that's your end consumer. So let's get into here. So we got the left is here, and you've got your Pro Q. Then the next thing that we're using is the compressor. And if you look here, this compressor is being fed by none other than, like I said, key number 2. So, and they're grouped all the way down. So when the compressor is reading this information off of this faux mono mix that I'm sending it, now the whole track's doing, guess what? Boom, 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 boom. It's all moving together. A kick drum's not making it go nuts and a vocal going this and everything not working in Congress together. You got everything is working together now. You got the compressor being triggered all the way across the board by one solid, consistent thing. The key, the mono mix, okay? Hope that makes sense. I know it's complicated, but once you kind of figure it out, not such a big deal. And I'm going to make this template available soon, just not yet, but it's coming. So, all right, so we got that's number 2. Then let's get into number 3 here. You got your third key being right here in the pink, and it is going in here into this channel. And these are the same. You can look at any one of them all the way down. They're all going to be exactly the same. They're just different channels, okay? So in this one, here we got the limiter coming in, and as you can see, it is being fed by key number 3, and we're adding a little bit of gain here. So it's down the chute. There she goes. So that's cool. Now I'll show you a little secret sauce. We'll do a little shout out to this guy, and again, that's FabFilter Pro L2. So I'm a big FabFilter guy, and why? Because they rock. All the FabFilter stuff is amazing, especially the EQ, especially the compressor and the limiter. They're very clean. They don't color the sound. They're not going to change what Lainey and Jay worked their tails off to get perfect. I'm not screwing it up in the mastering process. I'm trying to match the mastering that was done on the original 2 mix and get as close as I can without too much color. Unless needed, this one didn't need color. So, okay, so then we get to what's this little dude right here. Let me show you this little trick of mine. This is a simple plugin by Greg Wells. It's available through the Waves package, and it's called Mix Centric. And what it does is it just adds a little magic to the and I use this on this mix. I've used God Particle. I've used a bunch of different things. But this is simple. Doesn't eat up a lot of your CPU. It's just a really cool thing to do. And it's when you get your drums into this environment, sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes they might sound a little bit dull or like a little bit lifeless because they're not together in two two speakers anymore. They're coming all over the place. So this thing is cool because what it does is just kind of, it gives it just a little bit of snap, crackle, pop to it. It gives a little bit more thump to the low end, a little bit more tight. I just call it my cool switch, man. You hit that thing and hit a little bit of cool on it, you're good to go. And I've only got that, if you can see right here, it's only on these tracks that are in red, which are the bed. I got it all the way down through there, and they're all grouped together. And when I make a move here, it makes a move there, and they all look the same, okay? So now, once I get this thing, I got it, I'm playing the song, I'm listening, I'm making my adjustments to get it right. Now it's time to start looking at that meter, okay? This is when we got to get her down to 18. So we keep all our little lovely friends at Apple happy. So I've got a trim. The trim is grouped all the way down through the whole entire thing. And what I do is I play the song, see where I'm at, and then do the math. If you're sitting there at 11 flat and you need to be at 18, you got to turn it down, 7 dB. I think that's math is correct. It's not hard. So this one I had to turn down, looks like 6 dB all the way across the board until I hit that. So once that process is done, okay, I've got it where it's at 18. I got it sounding good. From this point on, speakers go off, headphones go on. So what do we do there? I'm going to pull this down and show you. All right, let me get it over here so it's out of the way. Okay, so we're going to come in here to our binaural render mode. And I'll show you what I'm doing on this particular song. And this changes every song. I mean, it should change every song because every song's not the same. On this one, the bed is still up front because now that I'm doing this, it's going to go back into a bed. Comes in a bed, breaks it out of a bed, goes back into a bed. It's crazy, but that's how it works. So you got near on your LCR going across the front. Everything's in near. The LFE is off. The sides are at mid. The tops are all at far, and the rears are at far. And then it's just based on the objects. So these ones that are named like Fab Verb and Eventide, the Infinity Loop, these are all the ones you've seen before that are in my mix template that I've transferred over to here and just make it easy so that I don't have to do this every single time. So it goes through all of my little doodads here, and then we get down, and the rest is pretty much mid because it sounded great there. So there's nothing really crazy going on there. Mainly it's how the bed's laid out, so it makes it work and jam. So now, once you get that and you get it set to 18, it sounds great in your headphones, then you're ready to go. And usually what you'll find is you're going to be making minute little changes. And that's what the beauty of this setup is because I don't do anything. I get it all up here on the top, up in the upper quadrants, where I'm dead on 18. I'm right at it. I mean, I might be a 0.1 or 0.2 off either direction. I put my headphones on and I start listening. Okay, so I'm listening down and something sounds a little, I don't hear this quite as loud because a lot of times you'll find when you're listening binaurally or however you're listening, some of the rear portion of the room might need to be turned up a little bit more to make it translate into your headphones. Not always the case, but it's something that I always look at to do. So I got my headphones on, I'm making changes, and I go through here and listen, like 17, 18 is the bass. If I want to turn the bass up just a teeny little bit more, I just grab these two, I group them together, and I turn it up a little bit more right here on the fader. Keeps it just little minor little moves all the way down, and everything's still being read by your compressors and everything, blah, blah, blah. So let's get down here. There's one really cool part that I tried to, this is a Jay Joyce production, so you can't fix perfection, and there's really not a lot you can add to it, except for Jay lets me have some fun here and there. And this is one of those ones that I got away with something that he liked, and it was cool. And the guitar solo, which is Rob McNeely played this solo, and it is absolutely haunting. And I love the way it sounded in the 2-mix, but when I put it into the room, it didn't have that as much of that spooky thing going on. So what I did is I threw it to our little favorite little quarter note delay, where the first one's up in the front, the back one is in the bottom back. You've seen me do that before, and it really shines on this. So I'm gonna pull this up because this is so much fun, and this is really cool. Check this out.
drinking watermelon moonshine.
I might be easily amused, but that's pretty fun. That's pretty cool stuff. So, if you guys haven't heard this entire album, it is hit after hit after hit. This is by far one of my favorites on the record, but you can't go. You can just close your eyes and point, and you're gonna be blown away by this girl. Amazing singer, amazing person. She's just the sweetest, kindest person on the planet. Everybody loves her here at BMG, and I'm just thankful I got to do this album with her. Quite the honor. So let me play just from the solo out. Let's just hear that last little bit. Let Lainey take us out of here. Here we go.
We cut the barn with a little line, parking back in them kudzu vines. I was his and every bit of that boy was mine. Too young to know what love was, but we were learning on a sweet buzz. There's never nothing like the first time, and mine's always gonna taste like watermelon moonshine, watermelon moonshine.
Wow. Lainey Wilson, Watermelon Moonshine. Pick up your phone, call your local radio stations, request that song. Hey, you might not think it matters anymore, but it really does. It helps. It helps move her up the charts, keep things rocking. I think she's up for, I might be wrong, either 8 or 9 CMA awards coming up. She's killing it from every direction. Grammys are coming up at the first of the year, so we wish her all the best luck there. So, man, honored to do this. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, Jay Joyce, for allowing me to be involved in this, and everybody here at BMG. And hey, we just hit, I think we're about 8,500 members, subscribers, and cooking and growing. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the great comments and all the great questions. Keep them coming. Fires me up. So have a blessed week. Have a blessed weekend, and I'll see you next week.
Don't forget, subscribe and click the bell down below and make sure you get notified for all of our upcoming episodes here at Enter the Atmosphere.